Well, welcome into another episode of the Indie Ball Insider Podcast. And today I am joined by Matt Shepardson, the Deputy Commissioner of the Frontier League. Matt, thank you so much for joining me. And we're gonna just jump right in. I don't think
Sounds
a lot
great,
of
Joe. Thanks.
I don't think a lot of people know much about your role unless they're outside of or unless they're involved in the Frontier League rather. So can you just explain kind of who you are, how you got to your job today, and what exactly it is that you do?
Well, most people would include me. Learning my role is an adventure every day, Joe. So I I coached in the league
Yep.
in Joliet and was offered the opportunity to move into the deputy commissioner role that had been occupied by Steve Tassler so ably for so many years as he ascended to the commissionership. And I don't know that that's a word, but we're going to use that from now on, the commissionership. And basically, I didn't move into his old job exactly because he
Sure.
kept a bunch of that, but um, on a just day-to-day basis, I'm managing um, the various outside contracts, technical stuff. So, streaming website, social media, and then our staff and interns that will handle that sort of stuff, managing them, um, contracts,
Yeah.
rosters, making sure everybody's is legal within salary cap, uh, you know, experience levels, all that sort of thing, rules, umpires.
Yeah.
Um, it's a wide ranging, great job for somebody with ADHD.
I love it. And I'd imagine you probably the off season probably has to be quite busy as well. I'm sure you don't really get much of a break.
No, no, for sure. And the off season is less travel, but
Sure.
probably um, more hours, to be honest with you,
Mm.
um, because we're getting prepared uh, every day. Signings are coming in.
Yep.
Every roster has to be built and contracts executed and checked and signed. We're building out infrastructure the entire off season.
Yeah.
Last year we launched a new web platform, switched our analytics system, um, switched our scoring system, and launched a streaming network
Yeah.
with Home Team Network. Um, this year we're not quite doing as much, uh, but somehow we've got big changes in store again. The big difference is no new teams this year.
Right.
Um, we're not adding two new cities to our
Yeah.
league this season, this off season. Um, but yeah, it's a daily. Something needs to be done every day.
Sure.
You've got to take care of it every day, and Steve did that so ably for so many years, and still, you know, um, I don't know that he works 365 or 366 days a year, but I know he works
Yeah. Yeah.
355 or
Exactly.
365 or 66 days a year.
Right. Yeah, that's really cool. And I think, a lot of people just from the outside are only seeing, the product on the field and, they might notice things like a new streaming platform or, some different analytics and stuff like that. But I feel like a lot of that work kind of goes unnoticed by most people unless they're really looking for it. And it's definitely underappreciated work. So from a baseball fan, and I'm sure there are many people who would agree with me, thank you for all the work you do because without you, we wouldn't have an awesome league like the Frontier League that has provided quite a bit of entertainment for a lot of people. And this
Well, I'm
last
not
year,
I'm not sure that we wouldn't have a league without
well,
folks like me,
it-
but it is an honor, and I specifically came into the job, Joe, and I think you and I've actually talked about this in your past
yeah,
with Windy City. I came into the job because I so believe in supporting the people who are
Mm,
doing that in now all
right.
18 of our cities, every club, every player. It, I fully I fully believe in the opportunities that um, our league specifically allows and creates
Mm,
for others. And it's one of those things that nothing gives me more joy in what I'm doing than to see somebody go and succeed.
yeah.
Um, at another level, at this level, whatever it is, my job is to facilitate those opportunities the best I can so that people can succeed across our league and that fans come and have, a great entertaining experience
Mm,
with quality professional baseball. We're not
right.
we're not the local movies.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
here to entertain through the great game of baseball that we all love so much.
Yeah, and let's talk about that for a little bit too. You mentioned obviously adding the two new franchises down east and Mississippi. When you look at kind of this last year and some of the changes, how did that kind of play out from, the league perspective of, obviously you're looking at attendance numbers and streaming numbers, and how did those changes kind of affect the general fan bases or maybe the league in general?
Yeah, sure. We are always looking for great quality um, opportunities,
Yeah.
be it new cities, new technical partners, preferred partners, whatever it is, right? Again, to enhance that experience, we want to enhance the
Yep.
fan experience. We want to enhance the player experience. We want to enhance the front office experience. So we've kind of got those
Yeah.
three different tiers. Um, Mississippi and down east both are experienced affiliated markets.
Yeah.
Um, and I think year one, we just saw great things in both places. We obviously uh, want to help support and continue to support them as they grow their
Mm.
fan base for the bird dogs as opposed to the wood ducks,
Right.
and for the mud monsters as opposed to the M Braves.
Yep.
We want to help them establish that identity, grow it, but both of those teams have great people in
Mm.
place, and it's so fun to go visit those towns. If anybody who's watching has the chance to go both of those places.
Yeah.
They're unique markets.
Mm.
Kinston is, a town, I think it's 53,500-ish,
Okay.
um, about an hour and a half, a little more than an hour and a half outside of the Raleigh-Durham area, right in the middle of three major military installations, kind of equidistant between three major U.S. military installations. Uh, it's a town with a great art and food culture.
Mm.
It's a town with a great sports heritage. It's such a cool little place to
Yeah.
visit, and a great place to watch a game. And Bill Ellis and Sherry Massengill and their entire team, their entire staff has done a great job. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to add in year two. And then you go, to the other side of the
Right.
country, go down to Pearl, Mississippi, outside of Jackson. And the ballpark is great. The
Mm.
team is great. Their social media is on fire.
Yeah.
It's always fun to see what they've got going on right now. They're doing their winter festival and have outdoor ice rink in Mississippi, which
Oh yeah.
is you know
Big
really
deal.
cool.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, yeah. And not a lot of places you can go and have great gumbo and homemade
Mm.
catfish
Yeah.
uh, at a baseball game.
Yeah.
Uh, Going to see the Mississippi Mud Monsters is one of those places, and it's great. I love I people ask me about our league and my line. You've heard me say this before. I love all my children equally, and I really do. I love every one of our markets, and there's something unique that draws you to each of them, and I
Totally.
get excited when I get to go visit those stadiums and see what they've got new and talk to the fans and see what's exciting them about their team
Yeah,
and the experience in the area. And so that's a really long way to say, they add new flavor to that
totally.
you know melange that we have going on, that
Right.
it's just such a cool it's such a cool league in terms of our footprint.
Hmm.
One day you can be in Quebec City, the next day you can be in Jackson, Mississippi,
Right.
or Pearl,
Yeah.
Mississippi. It's just it's so cool to be able to visit those teams and the cultures of each unique market.
Yeah, totally. I think you look at the four partner leagues, and the Frontier League definitely, at least from a mileage and a culture standpoint, I think has the most variety, right? You look,
Sure.
the Atlantic League is so kind of confined to the East Coast, and then you've got the Pioneer League out west. But I mean, like you said, you're stretching from Canada all the way down to Mississippi, and you've got, the Midwest with all the Chicago-based teams, but then you've got teams in the New York area, and it's yeah,
Mhm.
it is really cool to kind of see all those different cultures and areas interact.
Well, I know you
And
had Terry Bonadonna on, and Terry Bonadonna
yep.
is a huge history buff.
Oh yeah.
And so
Yeah.
for Terry to go from Brockton, Massachusetts, and the
Yes.
cradle of the American Revolution down to Pearl, Mississippi,
Absolutely.
and we were texting along the way about, what books or sites he's reading
Yep.
about to know
Yep.
the history of the area he's going through. It is really a cool thing. Again, you go to Kinston and they found I think it's Civil War era battleship in sunk at the bottom of the river that they
Oh wow.
have it's there's just so much cool history around
Yeah.
where we get to go, and Sussex County in New
Mhm.
Jersey, and driving between those New York area teams
Yeah.
in Albany, Paterson, New Jersey, Rockland County,
Hmm.
Sussex County. You'll see the Revolutionary Trail signs, and
Yeah.
the 43 different places that were George Washington headquarters.
Right.
And it's just I know a lot of fans love going on our league, kind of jump city to city
Right.
and take in all of those sites and ask for food recommendations
Totally.
and things to see. Um, so that's one of the unique things we offer, and obviously, Pioneer League has a huge footprint now,
Yep.
especially with the California division and American Association from Texas to
Yep.
Winnipeg. We all have footprints, and we all have things that make us unique.
Mhm.
Um, there's room for everybody in that. I just happen to love the variety and the
Yeah.
places that our footprint takes us.
Totally. Well, I'd imagine that you probably more than anybody besides the players and the staff themselves probably get to travel and see all these places the most, right? I mean,
Yeah, Steve and I see more than the players do for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Because we're in every ballpark 2 to 3 times minimum
Right.
during the course of the
Right.
season. Sometimes it's twice a month.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's but we're definitely um, we are privileged to get around to every
Yeah.
single stadium. We are not locked into series, so
Right.
you know, I, I I don't know what Steve averaged this year. I know what my mileage average was right around 250 miles a day.
Wow.
Um, and when you consider the fact that we've got 3 teams in the Chicago area
Yeah.
and 3 teams in the New York City uh, you know, metro area, and then another in Albany.
Yeah.
That's a lot of travel
Yeah.
um, to get between spots, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was, being able to be at Gateway in the St. Louis area one day and down in Mississippi the next
Mhm.
day, and then in Florence,
Yeah.
Kentucky, near Cincinnati the next day. It's such a privilege, and um, it doesn't get old.
Totally.
Some of the drives get old, but being
Sure.
in the ballpark every day doesn't get old.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think as far as the fans of the Frontier League go, I think one of the things that a lot of people have been talking about lately, since the expansion of Mississippi and Down East, is there another one coming eventually? I'd imagine you'd want to even things out, but I know
Uh,
obviously you can't tell us everything, but what can you tell us about where the league is headed as far as that's concerned?
I think that um, it is fair to assume that we are looking at filling in holes
Yeah.
in our map, further expanding our footprint. It's not news. I've said this exact line in
Yep.
multiple radio and podcasts. It's not news that we're very interested in the Montreal area. Um, it's uh, Steve at one point, Steve Tassler, I believe, called it our number one priority
Hmm.
um, over the last year. Uh, Certainly, there are always obstacles that may
Totally.
come up from a politics
Yeah.
and economics and things happen outside of our control that
Right.
um, might change some of those things. But certainly that's an area that we're very committed to. Um, And then, it's not hard to take our map and look around and say, hey, there might be a need for a team or two in this area and in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
area. And I think that uh, where we have added in the past has been strategic,
Hmm.
um, and getting getting everything in a row, all your ducks in a row doesn't always happen on the schedule that you want it to happen.
Sure.
Um, but that doesn't change what our intent is
Yeah.
without calling, the names of any specific cities.
Right.
I think it's logical to assume that we're looking to fill
Totally.
some of those holes.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. I think, Mississippi is kind of, they're relatively close to Gateway, all things considered, with the map of the Frontier League, but that was a little bit more of a kind of Cleburne situation like the American Association has, where they're kind of out there by themselves. What was that like just from a logistical standpoint? Right away they just have to jump into a ton of travel. And I
Sure.
talked about this a little bit with Terry as well. There kind of is that blueprint that Cleburne has already kind of given the Frontier League for this, but what was that like kind of setting up, um, kind of having that new area that the league is in and trying to figure all of that out?
Yeah. Well, for the short term, we definitely looked at um, we adjusted the way we scheduled things, right? So
Sure.
if a team from if Mississippi was coming up and playing Joliet, they're not going to be in Joliet for 3 games and go to Gateway. We'll have them in
Right.
Chicago for 6 games minimum.
Yeah.
So they might play Windy City and Joliet, or they might play Schaumburg and Windy City
Mhm.
before going back home. Um, we might keep them on the road one extra uh,
Sure.
series to fill that in. Um, Going down there, uh, teams the teams from beyond we had kind of a mileage based
Sure.
uh, criteria. If they were outside of the the radius that we thought was beyond kind of our normal
Sure.
in uh, intercity travel, then we would have them go for a 6 game series. So
Yep.
when Joliet goes down there, now they're going to be there for 6 games before coming home.
Right.
Um, and same then out in the east, if Quebec going down, they're going to be 6 games at down east. And in some respects that creates new I don't know, there's challenges, but
Sure.
certainly new experiences for us to think through I put my coaching hat on and think about, all right, I'm going to see the same team 6 games in a row now.
Yeah.
How does that change maybe how I'm going to prepare? So I know that if I'm thinking that way, our other teams are thinking that way too.
Yeah.
So certainly new um, variables, maybe.
Sure.
Um, nobody loves really long bus rides, but we're also not unfamiliar with them.
Right.
I have said again, my last season or second to last season in Jolie, I don't remember which one it was, but we had a 3 game trip out to Trois Rivières and back.
Hmm.
You know, um, that's that uh, we're used to those
Yeah.
longer bus rides, and that just comes with you know playing playing non-major league baseball. You're going to
Right.
have those trips, and you're going to have those longer bus rides. So certainly again, logically we'd like to find some partner teams and kind of pod
Sure.
uh,
Yeah.
for our division setup. Right now we're conference. We 2 conferences,
Right. Yep.
geographically Midwest and
Yeah.
East, um, and then we've got two divisions in each of those
Hmm.
conferences. So logically either growing those divisions or adding divisions
Yeah.
is something that would make sense for our footprint.
Totally. And then another logistical change too for the 2026 season. You guys are moving from
Or,
E6 to
yeah.
102. Yeah.
So we're adding one. Basically, the way our schedule sat before is that every team alternated the number of home weekends year to year,
Right.
which just from a logistics standpoint makes it difficult for budgeting and
Sure.
and scheduling and when you're trying to sell advertising and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Weekends matter. So the calendar was really advantageous for us for the next few years to try this out and see if that
Sure.
makes a difference to increase the number
Yeah.
of games and we'll assess. But with generally our regular season would end Labor Day weekend,
Right.
and with Labor Day being a week later for the next few years here, it made sense to add that week to our schedule. We already expanded our playoffs a little bit, so it'll push
Sure.
us just one week later.
Yeah.
Um, but again, every team will then know year to year this is how many home
Yeah.
home weekends we need to plan for and we can sell.
Right. Well, from a statistical perspective, I mean, I think that also brings up some interesting ideas. We might see a bunch of single season records broken, in the next
Sure.
couple of years. Obviously, it requires, one of those players to have a breakout season, but 6 games can make a lot of difference in the numbers category, whether it's a team statistic or an individual player statistic. You think we're going to see a lot of that happening over the next couple of seasons?
I think it's all that's a good question, Joe. That's always hard to figure out. Nobody would have guessed that going into this season that Anthony Calarco would set the Schaumburg,
Right.
all season record for RBIs a week and a half before the All-Star break,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Like you don't always see these things coming.
Right.
So it's very possible. Um, it's also, you know, um, I think we'll talk about Calarco setting. He set the Frontier League all-time single season RBI record this year. Um, that I believe that number is greater than any of the partner leagues records and
I believe
uh,
that is
with
correct. Yeah.
fewer games.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's possible that we won't, right? Because
Right.
we saw records set in fewer games that would
Yeah.
translate across. So how will we track those things? I'm sure there'll be heated and or I'll say lively
There
discussions.
you go.
Uh, we'll encourage our fans to have those discussions as well, and I'm sure that our director of digital marketing, Sarah George, will be asking questions about that on social media
Yeah.
and you know fanning the embers of a roaring discussion.
I love it. Well, as you, I'm sure you've got plenty on your plate right now, but as you're kind of looking forward to 2026, do you have like any goals or hopes and dreams for the season as far as the league is concerned, or maybe for yourself as the deputy commissioner?
Well, I hope every year that we grow,
Mhm.
that we as a league office support our clubs and their staffs in ways that allow them to,
Yeah,
um, bloom where they're planted, right? Every there's no blueprint for running a successful
totally.
organization. There really isn't. It takes, there are common ingredients, but it takes a unique mix in each market and each submarket.
Yeah,
The three Chicago area teams have very different uh, blueprints for how to successfully build in each of those three, only being 45 minutes apart from one
right.
another, right?
Yeah.
So, it's my hope that we can continue to provide tools. You're going to be seeing new things from us on a broadcast standpoint, that we're really excited and working on. We're going to have a new scorekeeping system, that hopefully will allow our fans to engage on a different level, and maybe for those who are kind of uh, stats junkies to be able to have access to some
Yeah.
uh, further statistics, and play around with those if they're so inclined. That may be something we're able to offer. Um, it's I really hope, especially as we uh, kind of learn to deal with some of the external variables in the baseball world.
Mhm.
Um, you know, just elephant in the room, NIL in college.
Yeah,
Name and image and likeness licensing uh, changes the partner league and even affiliated minor league
totally.
landscape,
Yeah.
because there's a different set of expectations, all that sort of thing. So as we learn to adjust, I think, a goal for me is to continue to um, build bridges and find ways to reach out, and continue not just to offer roster spots, but
Right.
the best opportunity to showcase that opportunity to help guys who um, may have been overlooked, who are trying to get into affiliated ball, or for whatever reason, just weren't ready their first time, to
Yeah.
continue to offer the tools and the opportunities for them, um, you know to move up in that sense. Um, and again, we want to help every one of our markets grow in what they're doing,
Mhm.
um, for our fans, for our players, and
Yeah.
for each staff.
Totally. That's really good to hear. And I think, you look at partner league baseball since COVID, right? And kind of the restructuring of minor league baseball, affiliated minor league baseball, and how that's kind of jump started a little bit this new era of independent league baseball, right? You've got so much fewer kind of opportunities for guys to get into affiliated ball straight out of college, and so that offers some really cool opportunities in the Frontier League and other independent leagues for these guys to really show what they got. And I think that's been super fun to A, be involved in, but B, watch. Like you mentioned, these guys who may have been overlooked, really getting that opportunity to prove, they're really good at what they do. And it's also just good baseball, right? Like everybody who likes watching baseball will have a fantastic time watching any of these four independent leagues because it's flat out just good baseball and it's super
Yeah.
fun to watch.
Well, and with the partner leagues specifically, you know, I think the level of play in each of the MLB professional partner leagues has gone up
Yeah.
year by year.
Yeah.
Um, across baseball, we can have another discussion sometime, Joe, about things that need to be fixed.
Right.
Everybody's
Right.
looking for pitching right now
Yep.
across baseball, right?
Absolutely.
Pitching has changed a lot. Hitting
Yeah.
is changing as a result. So there's definitely um, obstacles and areas that everybody is I won't say struggling with, but certainly that are challenges that
Sure.
didn't used to exist as a result. Um, but you know, I have conversations all the time with people who are like maybe first time in one of the partner league games and played or watched baseball 25 years ago and
Right.
expect to come in to one of the four MLB professional partner leagues and see guys throwing 80-mile-an-hour fastballs and
Hmm.
see someone hit 101
Right.
or crush a 470-foot home run
Yeah.
and just don't they weren't prepared for
Totally.
the level of excellence
Yeah.
and just the physical and mental skill level as it has continued to go up
Yeah.
has gone up in our leagues as well.
Well, I can tell you one team that hasn't struggled to find anything really would be
I
our
was waiting for this.
four-peat champions up in
Yeah,
Quebec. No, that's totally true. I think you watch Major League Baseball and you can tell, right, the differences from now and even just like 5, 10 years ago, just the style
right.
of pitching and resulting, the hitting has had to change as well. So yeah, that's totally true. And I would say too, that level of just the level of play increasing in these MLB partner leagues. Like part of that is just I think a lot of these leagues now have really feel like they have an identity. Like I've seen, especially with the American Association and the Frontier League recently, kind of being able to solidify, kind of where and who they are. Then you really start to see that play, the skill level and the style of play and that culture really kind of start to skyrocket, and that's been super fun to watch.
Yeah, Quebec is a juggernaut.
Yeah,
You don't come in and four championships in a row accidentally.
right.
Um, for those who have not or didn't get a chance to watch our finals, uh, Schaumburg versus Quebec,
Yeah,
I if that was a 35 game series, we would have gone to the 35th game and it
totally.
wouldn't have been decided until the eighth or ninth inning. It
Yeah,
was it
yeah,
was such a fantastic, evenly matched series. Both of those teams just such great baseball
totally.
plays being made. Um, and ultimately what I loved about that series wasn't decided by mistakes. That
Mm,
that series was decided by strength.
yeah, yeah,
And Schaumburg didn't lose it because of an error or because of a
right.
mistake. It was timely hitting and math caught up with them.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, you know, it just we had such good and we probably had four teams that could the same thing could have been said
totally.
in our playoffs. We just so evenly matched. And so, hats off to Quebec. Obviously, what they've done is amazing.
Hmm.
And they're not satisfied. They
Totally.
they want to win, but so does Washington, so does Schaumburg, so does Lake Erie, so does
Yep.
Tri-City. So you go down the entire list.
Yeah.
Um, you know, everybody, Sussex County wants back at Quebec,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
And you just going down the entire list of who was in our playoffs this year, but then who was just outside knocking on the door, and you know
Right.
um, the 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 various the various teams that have had success in the past. Everybody wants to be the ones to beat them.
Totally.
Nobody wants them to beat themselves, and it's an exciting time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it should be a great year to see who rises up and takes them all the way.
Yeah. Well, we could probably ramble on for hours about baseball and the Frontier League in general, but I think that's where we'll call it a day here. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been awesome.
Anytime,
Um,
Joe.
yeah, we'll definitely catch up during the season. I'm hoping to catch some Frontier League games. So hopefully
Well,
I'll run into you at some point at a ballpark somewhere near Chicago.
absolutely. Let me know and we'll make that happen.
Awesome. All right. Thank you again, Matt, and have a great rest of your weekend and stay inside. Don't venture out in that snow.
All right. Take care, Joe. Thanks so much.